All right, guys, first boot up. All right, so it looks like we have our standard setup here. I'm not going to film all this going through the setup, but just to show you, it's a very familiar Retroid setup. Hello everyone, my name is the Phawx, and in this video we're going to be... No, wait, I'm not as cool as Carrie. I never will be. Anyways, Deadheads, welcome back to the channel. Or welcome to the channel for the first time, new Deadheads. Today, excitement as we finally have in our hands, our grubby little hands, the Retroid Pocket Mini. We got it in the special black and red SFC colorway. I'm excited to show you guys what I think about this. I know that other reviewers and other people have gotten their hands on the black version, but stick around and take a look at this special colorway and see what you think about it. So the DHL guy just arrived and wham, there it is, the Retroid Pocket Mini. So I'm expecting inside of this to have our normal box. Let's get this open and see. No cocaine package, and all right, okay, we got a little pad right here, and yes, there's our normal Retroid box we're used to seeing. So same packaging they've been using. As I open this up and get this out of here, and nothing else in there, but nice that they use a little padding there to keep it secure in shipping as it ships, you know, directly over here from China. So here's our Mini, so you can see that. Look, the thing's still sealed, so that's good. Brand new Mini. Right here, there it is, womp womp, the SFC color. So we have the 5 colors. We did go with the SFC. The blacks have went out. Now this is going out, I think, 6. And then orange is going to go out after that. I think Saturn's last. Sorry, Saturn lovers. But yeah, here's your package, the Retroid Mini. So let's get this guy out of here and start to take a look and do our first hands-on. You guys are seeing this with me right minutes after this has been delivered. So getting a real hands-on, yep, normal kind of opening here. And there we go. On the inside we have, again, some more protection with the foam there. Here's our unit. And let's see what we have down here. We have our manual, which I have upside down, dead Fred. And pretty basic manual. So nothing exciting or fancy here. Does give you some system parameters there. This is, again, the specs of this, as I throw the specs up there on the side. But it is an AMOLED 500 nit 3.7 inch 280 by 960 display that I'm very excited about. It will do video out, so that's awesome. And it did ship with Android 10. Android 13 is incoming, as well as Linux. Excuse me. Linux is what I'm very excited about. Here is our USB cord, which is our Retroid branded. It is A to C. Was kind of hoping I'd see C to C, but it should be. I'm hoping it'll still do fast charge, but yeah, A to C, and nothing else under there. Just some padding. So, all right, I did not order the screen protector or any of the other accessories with it, just the handheld. So let's get this out of the way here, and let's take a look at the handheld. All right, Deadheads, today I want to talk to you about this video sponsor. We all know, as a retro gamer, you have a lot of storage to manage. There are a lot of systems over the last 40 years that you can choose from, and so storage is always a concern. And a lot of these handhelds, they ship with a storage for micro SD. So today's sponsor is HP. You've heard of Hewlett Packard. They make some pretty darn good SD cards. Now we know when you buy the latest e-waste from China, you're probably getting a terrible SD card in there, and you want to get rid of that card as quick as you can. But check out on AliExpress these micro SD cards from HP. They're good quality. I haven't had any trouble with them. They're up to speed. They're made well, and most importantly, they come in at a really good price. You can use my code at the bottom of this to get this at a good discount and look for sales in the future. Anyways, we want to thank AliExpress and HP for this sponsorship. Voila! And let me just say that in person, it is more of a maroon color. As I'm looking at it on the camera, I can see that the color looks a little more bright red. I can see why the photos look like that. But in person, it's a very much a maroon reddish color. Immediately, this thing feels really good, real good in the hands. We are seeing a trend with some of these more premium offerings, or at least the more, $200 and up offerings, having the glass front. And so this does have the glass front, which has been a bit of a contention for everyone, but it does give a nice look to it with it. I am really happy I went with this colorway. I do like this red color, this maroon color. It's not bright red. It is more like the SFC red, but not, it's a little different than I thought it was going to be, but I'm not disappointed. So as we zoom in here just a little bit and take a closer look, and so you can see that it has the standard buttons we're used to. These feel like the conductive glue. It may be membrane, but it's not micro switches, so that is good. It feels good. So we have our ABXY. We have, it looks like, our start and select up here. Then we have our Retroid and home button down here, or our back and home button back here. 2 speaker grills right here, and then our famous sticks. And oh boy, every time I use some Retroid sticks, I just remember how much I love these sticks. These are just simply the best sticks. Here's a little angle to show you for pocketability. It's not sticking out a whole lot above these buttons right here, so that's pretty good. Nothing on the side here. On the bottom, we do have our TF card, we have our headphone jack, and our USB-C port. The SD card, it's not sitting completely flush, so I don't know. I hope that that's just because it's not in there, but you can see right there, here's our port. I'm not a fan of this style of closure, although it's much better than some of the others. But yes, it does your TF card slot, and then that's just a screw hole right there for your screws. On this side, nothing. On the top, we do have our volume rocker. We have our fan vent right there. We have our power button right there. And then we have so your back shoulder buttons, your triggers, very, very quiet. I don't know if you deadheads saw the picture I put, but these have some really long in the back triggers. I know Retroid didn't want to make the mistake they did with the 4, so they did different ones. And these feel really good. They're a little bit louder. And let's do our shake test. Quiet. Nothing rattling around. For a $200 handheld, you expect that. And on the back here, your classic Retroid look. And it does have the nice shape here. Feels really good, really awesome. Holding this, I can just already tell you I like it. Let's take a look at the D-pad. The D-pad has pretty good pivots. Feels a little stiff, but I'm sure it just needs to be broken in a little bit. But it's got a good pivot there. I think it's going to work pretty good. I kind of wish we'd had the Sega style. My favorite D-pad is the Sega style D-pads that we find on other units, like the Bubble. But this is, your typical Retroid quality. I don't see anything here that is out of the ordinary, minus this little door right here that's not closing or sitting all the way flush. But aside from that, everything here seems to be as expected and anticipated in order. I really like the look of this. Again, I think this color, it looks on my camera with the lighting, it's just, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get it look the same way. It looks much brighter on camera than it does in person. Expect a more maroon color, which is closer to the original SFC color. So this being the SFC model that inspired it, I think that's correct for that. So anyways, I'm going to get this thing loaded up and we'll give it a try and play some games on it. All right, so let's address the big gorilla in the room. The other premium pocketable device that has recently released is the Ayaneo Pocket Micro. So here we have the two units next to each other, so you can just kind of see the two of them together and see how the two of these will look as far as pocketability. This is rocking the G99 and this has the Snapdragon 865. So this is more powerful. It's going to have better turn-up. It's going to have turn-up driver support. It's going to play a lot more. As far as the width and length of it, this one is more ergonomic. Of course, the Pocket Micro is going to be more pocketable. You do have the inline shoulders here versus the triggers here. So I think it's a good compromise. This ought to still be pretty pocketable. Everybody is complaining about the size of the screen. But if you're looking for something like the PSP Go, a lot of people want this form factor, and I would love to see, Retroid, if you're listening, let's see you do this. Let's take this mini and let's say the next version of it. Let's go and let's just improve it and, make this. Take that and make this. Slide it out. Figure it out. Come on, guys, let's do that if you're going to stay with this smaller screen like that. But here's, just to give you a comparison in size between the two. Now, before we get into the gaming, I want to talk to you guys about something here. I don't know that the conversation should be about whether this is too small a screen or not. I think that that's just a little bit the wrong conversation. I think the conversation we should all be having is whether PlayStation 2, GameCube, Nintendo Wii, any of that generation and further, and as time goes on and we start to develop some Wii U and we start to develop PS3 emulation, the question is something at 3.5 inches just simply too small to play for those form factors? Now, for me, guys, it is not. I don't know if you saw my recent video, but this guy right here has become my little Nintendo Wii machine. I am having an absolute blast taking this thing around. I've been playing through Klonoa on this thing. Having this thing in my pocket, be small, portable, premium, metal, it just is really nice. And so I'm even more excited that this might replace it because this is going to have the OLED screen. It's going to be 0.2 inches bigger, and it's going to have just a better CPU to run things even better than what that can run. So again, I think the conversation should be based on whether playing PlayStation 2 and playing Nintendo Wii and playing Nintendo GameCube makes sense on a screen smaller than 4 inches or maybe even 5 inches. So I really wish the community would start discussing that. I think it's fine. I think 3.5 inches is fine. I'm 50 years old. My eyesight's terrible. I know some of you probably have worse eyesight than me, even if you're younger. So yes, I can understand the small screen. But guys, the other part of this is you can take this thing and dock this, and then suddenly you can blow it up on your screen and make it, as big as you need to. Now there's resolution issues. Go check out Odin Wells' review. He did a pretty good job of going over the scaling issues once you plug this in. But it is really still a fact that this can actually be put into a bigger monitor if the size is really the worst thing. Because come on, if you're moving around in portability, this is going to bring some beautiful looking gaming to it. So anyways, let's get this thing fired up and play some games. All right, Deadheads, we're back and I've got this set up and we're going to play a little PlayStation 2, some Crash Twinsanity. And first thoughts here, this speaker is loud. It's pretty loud. I like it. It is front firing here on the bottom, so I kind of like that. I think they did a good job with this. I am running with the Nether patch, running at a 2x resolution here on this 4:3 screen, and you can see that it just looks freaking gorgeous on this OLED screen. 4:3 is such a great ratio for PS2 and for GameCube, so that's one reason why this is pretty exciting here. Oops, as I blow crash up. Pretty exciting here. Now, a word of caution, make sure you do go in and you do go into your performance mode. There is a high performance mode and there's a standard mode, but I'm going to run it on performance mode for more demanding software. But yeah, this just looks great. It looks really, really good. Crash Twinsanity is a fun PS2 game. We'll listen here. Look at the vibrancy of the colors. Now again, let's have a conversation about screen size. A lot of people, again, are making an argument that this is too small for PS2. I just don't buy it, guys. I mean, that's fine if you feel that way and if you want bigger. But man, pulling this thing out of my pocket somewhere, sitting, waiting at a doctor's office or whatever, and I can play a game that if you didn't know better, if I didn't know, I would think this is a modern game. The way it looks with the upscaled graphics, with everything, it just looks beautiful. There's nothing here that would lead me to believe that this is a 20-plus-year-old game. And this is the magic of emulation. Again, running at this really high resolution at a 2x upscale with FXAA. And we're getting just beautiful, fluid gameplay. Now, again, Crash Twinsanity is not the most demanding of games, and so let's flip over to something a little more demanding and see how this thing does on high performance, running something a little more demanding. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you probably know that my go-to game to see how PS2 is going to run is Jak 3. I've really only been able to get this to run very well on the Odin 2 or the Snapdragon G3X that is in my Pocket S in the upcoming DMG. Other than that, really, this is a very difficult game to get to play. On PC, it works as well, but for Android here. Now, for those that don't know, we did review the Pimax Portal on this channel, and the Pimax Portal has a version of this same CPU that's tweaked a little bit, but essentially the same. And you know, we didn't get real good results with Jak 3, so I'm anticipating some slowdown here. Yep, and you can already hear it. But let's move into high performance because we're not on high performance mode yet. And let's kick this fan up and see if that'll help any. Okay, so that helped a little bit.
My monks were ready to pray for you. I am Deimos, king of Sparkus.
Again, this sound is excellent. This is just, guys, I don't know how I can describe just how comfortable this is to hold. It's just so comfortable to hold. You know, Retroid has really evolved. If you go back to the 3 Plus, they sold a grip because they knew that it was not that great to hold. But this, with the ergonomics, just really nice. Now keep in mind, guys, that what we're seeing as far as performance is going to be pretty much the same on the 5. Of course, the 5 has a different screen resolution and a bigger screen, but it's running the same CPU, so we should see very similar performance on the Retroid 5. So let me zzz through this. All right, and right here, you can see that it's at a 2x. It's just not going to play at a 2x. It's going to have just massive slowdown running on this. I can run 2x pretty flawlessly at a full 60 frames per second on my Pocket S, and I could on my Odin as well. So let's try to take this down a little notch. Let's just go down to 1.5x, and let's see if we can get this to run any better. We are using Vulkan. Let's go 1.25. We'll try that. So let's do that. And it's sped up a little bit. Now again, I'm on high performance mode. I can't, the CPU is going to be maxing out. This is just not playing. And this is running on the Nether patch. So yeah, this is not an end-all be-all PS2 solution if you were hoping for that. We didn't expect that. We knew the Snapdragon 865 in this, you know, was going to have limits. Mr. Gamma, if he brings Gamma OS to this, he might be able to unlock some more performance in this. I'll take it down to 1x just to see if we get any improvement on that. Actually, we'll go to we'll go to 1x first. That's a little more playable. You're getting probably 20 frames per second there. But again, this is just the beginning of the game. There's probably going to struggle at more demanding aspects of the game later on if it can't do the very beginning of the game. But you could, you know, you could tolerate this. But I don't think this is going to be a very enjoyable experience overall for it. And then if you really want to just try to get this thing to perform, if we drop it down another level to 0.75, now we're really starting to get some good speed here, but it just does not look nearly as good as it was looking on this beautiful OLED screen. This is more playable. If I was going to actually try to play Jak 3, I would probably stay at this 0.75. You can go one more lower using this Nether. Guys, it's just really not going to be worth going down lower because the resolution is going to be just very, very poor. But just to show you guys, we'll go down to absolute bottom here. And this is it. It's not going to go any lower. And you can see that, yep, it's running really good and fast, but look how pixelated this looks. So, you know, if you're going to play a very demanding game like this, you really would like to have it, you know, look as good as it can. Jak 1 is going to play a lot better at 1.5x, maybe even 2x, running on this CPU. But let's take a look at some Gamecube, because that's the other 4.3 system you're going to run on this. And we'll be right back. Alright, Deadheads, how about some Simpsons Hit and Run? So it's one of my favorite Gamecube games. So as we play through a little of this and show you, I got this running at a 1x using the Dolphin emulator that is pre-installed by Retroid. It's a retro for handheld. It was needed for the T618. I don't think it's really needed. You can probably scale above 1x on that, but I wanted to show the one that comes with it, just so if you're going to use the one that's installed when you first set this up. And it looks pretty good. I do have this running with the shader on as well. And let's talk about the things that I like about this handheld. So first and foremost, I actually like the size. Yes, a 3.7-inch screen is something that you could really get, you know, really upset about. You could flip out over, you could miss out on this. Retroid smartly, very smartly is releasing the 5 at nearly the same time. So if this isn't the right screen for you, you have the 5, man, it's right there. But for those of you that seriously want to, you know, be able to take something out like this and play a really good, solid GameCube and PS2. Now again, with the caveat, it's not going to play everything, but a big, large swath of that catalog while you're on the go, this is a very good choice. At the same price, you can go with the Ayaneo Micro, which is going to have a really beautiful 4x integer scale for GBA. So if GBA is your jam, you might want to go with the Pocket Micro, but this is going to be a better overall handheld, although you do get the premium metal in the Micro. But if I had to choose between both of those overall, I'm thinking this is the one I would choose between the two overall, even though that I really like the Ayaneo Micro quite a bit. But overall, I think that's where I would go with this. I really like, of course, the shape and the form factor of this. I like the OLED screen. It's bright and beautiful. It really looks very nice in person. I don't know if you can capture in the video the high resolution. If Retroid, you know, found a 4-inch or 4.3-inch, you know, IPS, and they were considering it, and they saw this OLED, I can understand the OLED guys. This is beautiful. It just looks really, really sharp and good. I would say it looks just about as good as my Snowcake, and that has been my favorite OLED panel, which you're about to see in a whole lot of handhelds, including the Pocket DMG that's coming out. But this is a great OLED screen. It's just really crisp and vibrant. The color saturation is good. And it just has a really nice high resolution to it for this size of 3.7 inches. I really do like the overall aesthetics to this. I like the colorways that were released. Now, let's talk about a few things I didn't like. I don't like the fact that the SD card isn't sitting completely flush. Now, maybe this is just the earliest of units that are doing this. I don't know. Some people are reporting they're not seeing that sort of issue with their handheld. So that's just a little nick on this for me. I also, if we're really going to go pocketability, I'm one of those weirdos that I don't mind inline triggers. And I really think would have been nice to have inline on here. I know a bunch of you are going to say, Dead Fred, you're crazy. It's better with the stacked shoulder buttons. But hey, man, if I'm looking for portability, give me some inline shoulder buttons. Some good ones, because that was one of my criticisms with the Pocket Micro. The ones that they had were inline, but I didn't really like it. So can't say that that was very, very great. The other thing that I don't like about this is the software. Right now, Android 10 is probably going to remain the best version of this. A lot of pressure was put on Retroid to get Qualcomm to update and release Android 13. You're going to be able to do that, but I want to caution you. Chris let us know from Retroid. He let us know that if you upgrade to Android 13, and I'll put a big warning sign up here on the screen. If you upgrade to Android 13, you are stuck with it. There is no turning back. You would be essentially locking your handheld into 13 onward. You got scope storage to deal with in 13. You've got more power hungriness. So maybe 10 is going to end up being the best thing. But I do believe that the fact that it's shipping on 10 is a bit limiting, and that's a bit disappointing. Also, don't like that Linux is not quite ready, although it's coming, and it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait to have it. Right now, if you were looking for the Linux builds like me, it's going to be a minute, so you got to have some patience there for that. And ultimately, Linux is probably going to be more enjoyable and work better than Android 10. But Android 13 on the Retroid Pocket 5 is probably going to be the way to go long term for that system. There's just not a lot to complain about here, not a lot to not like. For those of you wondering, I purchased this myself. It was not sent to me. These are based on my viewpoints. I'm not being paid to say this. I just really like this handheld. It's hard to find a lot to complain about it. But I did point out a few things that annoy me about it so far. This is an early first look review. At the end of the year, we're going to do some follow-up reviews on our favorite handhelds, and I think this guy has a real shot at being a contender for my favorite pocketable handheld. But we'll see. Anyways, guys, this has been our unboxing and first look review at the Retroid Pocket Mini. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know if you picked one up. What do you think about this colorway? What do you think about the availability? Let us know what you're thinking. All right, guys, make sure you go out there and hug your loved ones and love your hugged ones, because tomorrow's never promised, and Mom, I miss you every day, and I know someday I'll see you again. Anyways, Deadheads, this has been another Deadhead First Look and Unboxing. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. Dead Fred out.